You might not even notice you're doing it, but punishing yourself can make it really hard to really heal the fearful avoidant attachment style. And healing can actually become a way to punish yourself when you're a fearful avoidant. So let's make sure that that doesn't happen. I am Pauline, and in this video, we are going to talk about the 5 reasons why you punish yourself as a fearful avoidant, why that makes so much sense. And you might not recognize the fact that you're punishing yourself. You might not be aware of doing that, but you might notice that you are healing. You're working on healing. You're working pretty hard on healing. And then all of a sudden, it's like you're being dragged back to feeling bad. And before you know it, you start feeling like you're never going to get out of this. Yeah, you're not far enough along. This all is just too hard to do. And that has several reasons, but one of them is punishment. Because what happens is that you actually start feeling better because you're healing, you're releasing things, you're rewiring things, and you start to feel better. And then this mechanism, this deep nervous system pattern kicks in. But wait, can't feel too good. I have to punish myself. I'm probably doing something wrong. And you get dragged back into feeling bad. And we'll get into why all of that is. You might also notice that feeling good just doesn't feel good. You may just assume that you want to feel good and that feeling good will feel good, but chances are that it doesn't. It doesn't feel very good. It feels uncomfortable. It feels like you're missing something. It feels like you're not taking life seriously. It feels like you're not taking this healing seriously. You can't be there yet, and so you won't allow yourself to feel good. Feeling good actually doesn't feel good and feels uncomfortable. You might notice that anytime good things come to you, you brace. You have a hard time allowing them, receiving them. You brace, like something bad is going to happen. And that could be because when you were younger, your fearful avoidant parent was kind of the guard dog in whether you were allowed to have these things, or that would make you spoiled, or that would make you not appreciate the things that you got. You had to be grateful. You had to be thankful. And so you probably have been punished for receiving beautiful things, for receiving good things, which makes you kind of scared to allow those good things in your life. And you kind of drag yourself back into punishing yourself as to not get spoiled or not act entitled. And also, of course, anytime you feel like you have done something wrong, might do something wrong, will do something wrong in the future, you retreat, you hide, you lash out, and you make yourself feel bad. And this is classic self-punishment. But it feels comforting to feel bad. Just notice yourself when you're feeling bad, whether there's a part that feels comforting. And it makes so much sense that that happens when you've had a fearful avoidant upbringing. So where does this come from? Why is this? Well, a fearful avoidant parent usually works with control a lot. A fearful avoidant parent wants to control you as a child, wants to make sure that you're not spoiled, you're not lazy, you're not going to be entitled. You have to be a certain way in order to kind of survive in the world. So it's not even always malicious intent. It's just they want to prepare you for the world, and they have a clear view of how you should be when you will be accepted by the world. And so they use control to kind of get you to be that person that they think will be accepted by the world. Also, fearful avoidant parents always have difficulty regulating themselves, difficulty with control themselves. And so when you have big emotions, big feelings, they will have a hard time allowing that just to be there. Most fearful avoidant parents actually have a pretty rigid way that you have to be in order for them to feel comfortable. Whereas secure attached parents can feel okay with you being whatever and whoever you are, and whatever you feel and whatever comes up. So the more control a parent needs, the more that just shows that they are having a really hard time regulating their own emotions. They're actually pretty fearful, pretty scared of what might happen, what could go wrong. And that causes them to punish you in a lot of ways. It's not just the typical, the timeout or the spanking or the things that you would think about when you hear the word punishment. It could also be retreating, getting really cold, getting critical, judgmental, harsh, lashing out, making you feel it. And this is something that is subtle, so it might not be something you're aware of. But I don't know if you have experienced this exactly the same, but what my dad used to do, my dad was a fearful avoidant parent, and he would, whenever I did something wrong, whenever I did something he wasn't happy with, he would keep talking to me until he felt like I felt it. So he would keep telling me what I did wrong, getting angry, and he would actually say, you have to feel it. You just have to feel it. And when I started healing this specific pattern, this deep nervous system pattern, I realized that all these years later, 20 years later, or whenever I was healing it, I was still feeling it. I was still making myself feel bad at every turn. Whenever something went wrong, whenever I thought I did something wrong, I made myself feel bad, because that was his strategy. He thought that I would actually be better, become better, be a better person when I would feel really bad about myself. And this is a strategy that pretty much all fearful avoidant parents use. Most of them are not so aware of it. It's not a very conscious choice. But they have the belief that you have to feel bad in order to become better, to improve. And so what do? You will always make yourself feel bad, punish yourself into feeling bad because you think that's the only way you will improve. So you won't stop yourself feeling bad until you're perfect. And this just creates this cycle of you feeling bad, then kind of feeling better while you're healing, and then getting dragged back into feeling bad because you're not allowed to feel good now because you're not perfect yet. And when you feel good, you're not taking all of this seriously. You're not going to improve anymore. You're not going to grow anymore. And fearful avoidance, you may notice that you want to grow. You love self-development. You love self-growth. And that is a beautiful thing. But when it is driven by fear, by this insecure attachment style, by the fearful avoidant attachment style, you will not allow yourself to feel good until you're perfect. And it just creates a cycle that you won't get out of unless you rewire this pattern. So how do you punish yourself? You stop, for instance, taking care of yourself. There were times where I would not shower. I would not eat. I would not drink. I would not take care of myself in any way. I made a whole video on this too. But that was to actually make me feel bad. Like I felt like I didn't deserve to take care of myself in the sense of taking a shower, but also not eating and not drinking when I actually should have and my body asked for it was a way to make me feel bad physically. So you could be doing this without you really noticing. If you don't drink, you get a headache, you're not feeling well, you're not going to be energized, you're not going to feel good. And I use that. as a way to punish myself, because I felt like I deserved that. I deserved to feel bad only. Um, it could be that you procrastinate, feel guilty, and feel pressure. So you procrastinate on something that you should be doing, want to be doing, and you don't. You just push it up to the deadline. And because of that, you feel guilty, you feel a lot of pressure, which are all not very positive feelings. So you create you feeling bad by procrastinating. It could be that you think about all the things that you did wrong in the past, so kind of ruminating. It could be that you do things that you know are bad for you just to feel bad. So what you see here is a pattern that you do things to feel bad. That's what punishing yourself is, and it can be very clear, but it can also be very subtle. But feeling bad feels comforting because you feel like uh, you're ahead of the punishment. You're ahead of somebody else getting angry with you. And also, you equate guilt with taking accountability. So you feel like if you don't feel guilty, if you don't feel bad, you're not taking accountability for what you did wrong, what you are doing wrong. It's as if the only way to keep yourself in line, in check, is to feel bad. And it's not just guilt, it's also shame. You feel like shame is going to make you a safer person. So many fearful avoidants, maybe you too, grow up with this idea that they're a bad person. They hurt other people just by being themselves. This can come from being made responsible for your parents' emotions. You made your mother cry. Now you're making me angry. It could also be that your fearful avoidant parent was very controlling in how you were in social situations, which meant that he or she would be critical on how you played with other kids, and they weren't aware of the normal child developments and weren't able to just help you and guide you in how to play with other kids, but they made you feel bad because they think that that's the only way to help you feel better. I remember my dad saying that, or writing in his diary actually, that I was pushing kids in daycare. I was very young. I don't know how old I was. And so he slapped me and he put me in the hallway. That's kind of like the Dutch timeout. And I just had to, and he forcefully grabbed me by the arm and put me there. And later I was thinking it's so ironic that he thought I would learn by him physically hurting me that I shouldn't hurt other kids. But that's just a certain way of thinking, certain way of believing how people improve and how people are going to grow. And it obviously doesn't work like that. The worse you make somebody feel, yourself feel, the less likely you are going to actually improve. It just creates more anxiety and fear. And there's absolutely still a motivation to grow when you feel good. A lot of people that go through Healed and Happy, my online program to heal the fearful avoidant attachment style, they say, but what if I let go of this, all of this, and I just feel good? I won't grow anymore. I won't develop anymore. I won't improve anymore. And that's not true. You still have this urge to grow, or this longing to grow. It's just not fear driven anymore, which is very freeing. It's very freeing to not have to grow out of fear, but out of curiosity, really. So there are a lot of ways to punish yourself, the ways you punish yourself, but the main thing is that your fear brain thinks that feeling guilty means safety, feeling shame means safety, feeling bad means safety. And you're supposed to feel like this. You're supposed to feel all these I want to say negative emotions. That's a label. Um, you have to feel bad about yourself in order to become better and in order to someday in the future feel good. And so feeling bad almost feels like relief. When you pull yourself back into feeling bad, it can feel like relief. It can also feel like now I don't have to perform. Now I don't have to keep it up. Now I don't have to um, keep being good, as if that takes a lot of energy, and there's a lot of pressure on always being perfect and always doing the right thing. When you're feeling bad, it's like you're giving yourself off from having to always be good, which makes so much sense because that's what it was when you were younger. It felt like performance. It felt like you had to perform. That's what it does when it becomes fear driven, when improving is fear driven. So until you rewire that, you will default to self punishment, to feeling bad, because that's just what your body was trained for. But we can unlearn that, we can release that, we can rewire that into uh, you actually feeling good, still growing and improving if you want to, because you're curious, um, but also releasing the associations around feeling bad, the associations around guilt and shame, because a lot of this is associations. Right now, you have positive associations with feeling bad and feeling guilt and feeling shame because you feel safe and you feel like you're doing a good thing. You feel like you should feel like this. Those are positive associations with negative feelings. But you also have negative associations with positive feelings around feeling good and allowing good things, and around giving yourself grace when you may do something wrong. And we're going to rewire punishment into healthy responsibility, uh, because you don't need punishment. You will do things wrong, and that's fine. We all do things wrong. We all make mistakes. And what you do is you take responsibility. Healthy responsibility looks like, okay, I did something and I'm going to handle it now. I'm going to do something about it now. And uh, punishment would be, I should have not done that at all. And now I have to feel absolutely horrible because I did that. But also just any situation. It doesn't even have to be anything you did wrong or any mistake you made. Just any situation in your life. Punishment looks like, I should have handled this already. And I'm bad for not having handled it. Not having seen it coming. Not having prepared for this. And healthy responsibility is, oh, okay, this is the situation now. What can I do? I'll handle it. And one of the memories I have when my daughter was born, and I was definitely still in this self-punishment pattern, is that anytime she would go through a phase and things would change, if you have small children, you know that happens a lot. I felt so bad for not having already have had the toys or had her clothes or shoes a size up. And it just made me feel like a really bad mom, that I didn't see it coming, that I didn't already have everything at hand. And then a girlfriend said, but that's just what parenthood is, right? You watch your child, you see what they need, and then you adjust. You can't do that in advance. And that was such an eye-opener. It's like, oh yeah, maybe that makes sense, that you just closely look at your child and what they need in every moment, and then you adjust. And so I had to let things happen before I adjusted. And there was a lot of healing and tapping around that, around feeling guilty and feeling like a bad mom for letting things happen. But that was actually what it's supposed to be. And that is also what it can be and has to be with healing. And so healing, like I said in the beginning, can be a way to punish yourself. If you work really hard at healing and then you kind of feel better, um, and then you drag yourself back into feeling bad, and then you work even harder at healing. Healing can then become kind of a hamster wheel, and just you feeling like you have to work harder and harder and harder to get to a place where you're healed, but healing actually equates to being good enough. And that's not what you're working towards. You are good enough. You've always been good enough. You've just had a lot of trauma and a lot of negative experiences and negative beliefs and negative associations around positive things that make it make so much sense that you're feeling what you're feeling and you're thinking what you're thinking. And so healing, actually getting to a place of being healed, requires you to heal these deep nervous system patterns and heal the real roots of the fearful avoidant attachment style, including the things that kind of keep you from healing. And this pattern definitely is one of them. If you still believe that you won't improve unless you punish yourself, if you still believe that you have to feel bad in order to feel better in the future, that is just a cycle that will perpetuate until you release and rewire that. And now, as always, I want to help you as much as I can. And again, this video is almost 22 minutes long. And I hope this was already valuable in that you now have this insight and you know what to do and what to heal. But last week, I made a video on the hero solve pattern, which is also one of the 5 deep nervous system patterns. And we did a live workshop, which was absolutely amazing. I loved doing that. I loved giving that. So it was a 1.5 hour workshop, and we rewired that one pattern. We just completely went into rewiring that one pattern. I want to do that for this one too. And I might do it for all 5, just to give you something really tangible that you can do that will actually help you so much in getting out of hypervigilance. Because punishing yourself is also a way to keep yourself in hypervigilance, always scanning what could go wrong and already bracing, making sure that you're already punishing yourself before something else or somebody else does that, or something else can happen. So we're going to do another workshop. You can find all the details in the description, so make sure to go to the description and read it. And that's also where you can sign up for the live training workshop. I would love to see you there. I would love to be able to guide you through this process of releasing and rewiring and actually getting to work and releasing this pattern that is just exhausting and can really make it so much harder to get to a place of being healed. So this is just a very concrete, tangible thing that we can work on and that we can heal and release. Let me know in the comments below whether this was valuable. I always want to hear. And as always, I am so happy you are here, and I will see you in the next one. Healed and Happy is a tailor-made online program where me and my team personally guide you through healing the roots of the fearful avoidant attachment style.